Ladies and gentlemen, it is showtime. Please enjoy the show.
It's the corner where the treats at.
Is this the passing of the torch, right? Is this what this signifies?
It comes down to that front office and what they feel is most important.
The champ is here. We've touched down from a higher plane. Why you made it here?
We always look forward to that week because it was always intense.
You know that we ain't coming back. We about to.
The man, the myth, the legend, Dante Hall. My favorite player growing up was Dante Hall. I love you guys in the show, but Dante was my guy.
Get to dashing because you done on the warfare.
This segment is presented by FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. This postseason stretch has everything. The NFL playoffs bringing winner go-home drama, college hoops heating up, and nightly action across the NBA and NHL. If you're following the games, FanDuel provides real-time odds, player trends, and insights that help fans understand how the markets view each matchup. From football to basketball to hockey, it's a great way to stay connected to what's happening across every league. Here on Chief Concerns, we'll keep you close to the storylines and key numbers shaping the postseason, which teams are trending up, which stars are surging, and how momentum is shifting as the championships get closer. This content is for informational and entertainment purposes only. We don't offer betting advice or guarantees. Please gamble responsibly and only where it's legal to do so. Must be 21 years or older. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Monday Morning Tight End on your Monday evening. I'm Marcus Dash. Right there is our guy, former Chiefs tight end, Jason Dunn. And ladies and gentlemen, it's officially the offseason for our Kansas City Chiefs. It's going to be a fun time, and it's going to be a fun ride. And we already have a jam-packed week ahead for our first offseason of the 2026 JD. I mean, Wednesday, we'll have Tim Grunhard on the show. We'll have our guy JD kind of go head-to-head on guys we prefer at pick number 9. And I think we get into this whole we'll get into it more on Wednesday, but I think there's too much of this draft conversation where just because you don't like someone doesn't mean you hate that prospect. There's just preferences we all have. And JD and I, it's not that we dislike Jeremiah Love. If we get Jeremiah Love at number 9, we'll say, hey, that's great. This guy's going to be awesome in our offense. But we have guys we prefer over that, or positions we prefer over that. And same with Tim Grunhard. He may not want Ruben Bain at number 9, but if you guys seen his comments, because people have been asking him, he's said great things about Ruben Bain. He just prefers Jeremiah Love. So we're going to get different schools of thought on Wednesday night, and it's going to be a great show. So tune in Wednesday night to hear from two Chiefs legends, and Tim Grunhard and JD. JD, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. Long trip from down there in Florida, coming back, and so trying to recuperate a little bit. But everything you said, Marcus, is absolutely is a fact. So, for me and you, we look at, obviously things that we feel like is more of a priority for our team as opposed to what, maybe Grundy says. And he'll be able to speak more on it on Wednesday. But I think it's going to be an exciting episode for sure. So, don't hesitate to come in. It's going to be a nice little ride. I get to talk to my brother, Grundy. Me and Grundy play together here in Kansas City. And so I know Grundy real well. So he's good people all the way through. Straight up and down, man, like 6 o'clock. So, he, like you said, he likes Love, and we prefer other guys. And I think D-line is where we had to go. And so whether it be Bain or Bailey or who you said Downs also too, possibly.
That's a whole different can of worms with safety, but yeah, 100%.
Yeah. So I think it's pretty much what it is. I think we both all recognize talent for sure of each and every one of these guys. So we don't want to, at least demean anybody for that matter. But, like you said, it's just it's a matter of opinions. The thing I didn't like, I disliked a lot was maybe going in on certain ones because of a difference of opinion, particularly because of it is football. And so all these players and everybody, like you said, everybody's in different camps about certain things. But he said, this guy's not going to be that good, and I don't have questions about him. And Bain is the inches of his arms is not prototypical. I'm like, listen, y'all are missing the boat. I believe that this guy is such a talented a guy. Really, he's going to be a first-round pick. I'm hoping he'll get to us. I don't even know if he'll get to us. That's the thing about it. But it's denying his greatness, like Love and Bailey and all those other guys that we have mentioned too, Marcus. But yeah, I think we'll get in. We'll talk about it a little bit, and kind of, we'll flesh everything out where everybody is. But with that being said, man, this game right here really kind of opened up a lot of questions, to be honest with you, as far as like need. And so, we'll get into the grades, talking about this a little bit. But I do think it's important to kind of speak about the draft, but also, too, free agency. Who are you thinking about getting in free agency in the building? Because that's one of those things I think is, if you don't address that, veterans coming in and guys that's played, other teams, bring them into a culture, then rookies coming in, they can only do so much. They can. And so it's really going to fall on the shoulders of the guys that's been here, understand what the culture is, trying to set it for what it has been for a long time, and then teaching everybody else who's coming into the new building about what it is, what it means to be a chief. And so I think we'll do a very good job. With that being said, I'm going to say what's up to everybody here. I hadn't had it in a long time. Say what's up to everybody. So I see Michael Kittle's in here. Justin DeWay, Andre Chenault, Laura Zingzer, About Time, Linda Hunter, Witchy Hall, Deshaun Hammonds. What's going on? DJ Jazzy One. So that's the folks that's in here right now. And I see on the chat, man. Good to see you all. Very good people, each and every one. Yeah, man, shoot. I'm open book to talk about whatever. So
Let's get it. JD, I think you bring up a good point. This is something that when we do talk to Tim Grunhard on Wednesday, we talk about free agency, and I think that a lot of people are skipping free agency altogether and just talking about a lot of people. I'm not saying all, because there's a lot of people who are in the same camp with us. D-line is more of a need, and I think it just begs the question. It's like, it just tells you how much what the NFL is right now. And right now, the NFL doesn't really prioritize running backs, and that's why this free agency we're about to see, we're going to see top dogs at running back, but you're not going to see top dogs at defensive end. Those edge rushers are being gobbled up by teams. They're keeping their own. Whereas running backs, those guys are testing the market. They're going to see what's out there. So that's why it's like, well, probably better to go get the running back, because you ain't going to get defensive end. We're going to have the same conversation we always have in August. Should we go get Jadeveon Clowney or not? He's the only one out there. It's like, we can't stand to have that conversation anymore. And at this point, you need a guy who's going to potentially give you what Bailey could give us, what Ruben Bay could potentially give us. You need Keldrick Falk. I'm not the biggest Keldrick Falk fan. I like the other two guys more so. But still, those guys, I feel like they can give us a lot more for a longer period of time under cost control. Whereas you get a guy like Jadeveon Clowney, or fill in whoever the veteran is in August. It's like, 1 year fix for 4.5 sacks? That's not doing anything. Like, yeah, sure, it adds another rotational pass rusher, but it's not really doing anything for us for the long haul. It's going to have the same conversation the following offseason. So,
and what we need one of those talents that we know is going to come here and produce, get a lot of numbers. And if you get a guy like that young, then he's on a contract with us. And we're fine doing that. Shoot, you might get a guy like Bain and Bailey, who's going to come in and make an immediate impact for what we do defensively. And so we understand. I always say this, Marcus, but the game is worn down in the trenches. There's no mistake about it. We got to understand what that means. It's gonna be the guys up front to get the job done. Everybody else in the back are the ones that they benefit off of good blocking or good tackling or pressures up front for either a DB or on the other side of the football offensively, protecting the quarterback so he does have time to make the throws down the field, so the guys can be exceptional in what they do. So, but yeah, I do agree with you. Free agency for a guy, it's going to cost a lot of money. And so that's another thing we got to talk about. Money's going to be a little tight around here. It's going to have to meet, some questions, and as far as some decisions being made, it's going to be some hurt feelings. Some guys that I watched in this game might have been the last time they suited up with it for a chief. Let's just be honest. And so this is the way it works in the NFL. Guys are going to move on. We had to think about draft capital. Is there something also, too, potentially that guys we thought about signing, do we sign them or do we just, move on from them and try to get, a couple of picks and see what we do with it? So we'll just have to see, man. We'll have to see. Like you said, it's going to be a very exciting offseason. Very exciting offseason. But first I want to talk, hey, man, that game last night, you said game last night, Pittsburgh and the Ravens?
Awesome game. Awesome fourth quarter, really.
Yes, it was. watch the kickers. The kickers. Over at Boo Boo in the bed at the very end.
Nuts.
I told somebody, I said, man, I could hear that kicker's knees shaking for the Ravens when he went out there.
Well, he had 2 blunders. He kicked the ball out of bounds on the drive before that, and then he comes out and does that. Wow.
Yeah. You ask him, man, you okay? Yeah, I'm okay. Sure.
What do you make of the well, obviously there's an article that came out I think last week or 2 weeks ago about how Lamar he goes to meetings late. They do practice in the afternoon because he stays up all night playing video games, so they can't do morning practices even though the coaches prefer that. Lamar denied it, and I think Harbaugh also denied it too. But the reporter is a Baltimore Sun reporter, has been there a long time, he's like a seasoned veteran reporter who reported it. And obviously people think it's a hit piece from someone in one of the assistant coaches there who has a problem with Lamar. But then yesterday after the game, they asked Lamar, "Do you think the Harbaugh should be here next year?" And he didn't answer the question. He said, "Man, you're asking me about that. Like, we just lost a game, man. Like, I was thinking about this season. That's the next season." But people just said, like, all he could have done. I'm just curious what you've done post game press conferences, but like when questions like that is asked to you, like people could have just said, "I'm like what? Like no, I'm back Harbaugh." So people are saying by his non-answer really shows you there's kind of a divide between the two. And I think there was a report today that Harbaugh is on the hot seat, so he might be on the outs.
Well, they've been talking about him being on the hot seat. There was some things about them trying to, move away from Lamar and his contract. There's been a lot of things come out. Listen, and one thing I do know is this, any type of controversy, salacious pieces that come out, they're going to be drawn to it. So I have no idea who, like the guy you said, he's a long time Baltimore, but that doesn't mean anything. It could be a hit like from the inside. The thing is, and I think Swagoo made a great point about it. He went on a rant and was sitting there saying, like, nobody complained when Lamar was winning all these trophies for, when he was MVP and he won all the games, getting to the playoffs. Nobody had any complaints then about all that happening. It just happens now when they are sitting over here and they're struggling and they haven't made it to where they needed to make it, that everything comes out now all of a sudden. Now all of a sudden, everybody has something to say. It's a hit piece on Lamar. Before that, he was the best thing since sliced bread. And so this is the way the things work, man. It's all, which way does the wind blow? Okay, somebody came in and said this about Lamar. Well, how do they know? Are you sitting down playing video games with Lamar? You know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about? So I think, man, all these things that comes out, you can sit there and say there could be a sliver of truth that's there, but also too, listen, whatever it is, they're going to figure it out. And I don't think Lamar having a non-answer is really him being frustrated with the season. Like, man, why are you going to ask me about that? Right? We just lost the game. Okay. And even if I knew and I had an answer, why would I tell you? What's the purpose of it? We all upset at this moment. They want to go ahead and move on from this season, like we do too, from here and Chiefs family in the kingdom. You've seen the guys. I watched these guys on on film, and them jokers was ready to move on. It was some downright walking around type of attitude from some of them. So zombified in a sense. So with teams that have been successful in the past, Marcus, I mean, it hurts. It hurts. It's devastating because if you don't achieve the things you wanted to achieve, it's a tough place to be, man. That's like anything else in life. You don't get it, you're going to be very disappointed. Guys here are disappointed. Baltimore, they're very disappointed. I know John. John is a very good coach. Even if they moved on from John, he's going to land somewhere. He'll be one of the biggest hires you could possibly get.
100%. So it's the same thing we talk about, like when Andy Reid and Joe Harbaugh are both in the same boat, right? They've been at their organizations for 10 plus years. They both won a Super Bowl, and it's like, what are you going to do? You're going to find someone better than him? You're going to find somebody off the street who's going to be better than John Harbaugh? I mean, come on.
Yeah. So I don't know what that whole thing is, but
yeah.
Well, it is what it is, man.
The one thing I think that kind of jumps out to me is like in that article they also said that had if he does become available, the Ravens try to shop him. Miami and the Raiders are the two teams that he can potentially go to. Obviously, he's from Boynton Beach, right outside outside of Miami. Vegas, obviously, going to the Raiders. They needed quarterback. They have to play Lamar 2 times a year. I don't know if I want him in my division. Sure, play him once a year, fine with that. Having to play him twice a year, I don't know if I want that.
Yeah, no.
I want the Raiders to have a question mark at the quarterback position forever. That's what I want.
They better address it this year. I'm sure they will. So
yeah, Geno Smith already got rid of all his Raider stuff off his profile.
Who?
Geno Smith already got rid of all his Raider stuff.
Did he?
Instagram,
yeah. You know what's up. Yo, about time, man. Hey, shout out to him. Melody here. Just want to say hello to you. Hope you're doing well. Keep in that fight. You about time. Good to see you. I'm glad you're on here to say what's up to us. And so I had to give you a shout out, my brother, and to your wife. Okay, so lovely couple of y'all too. So beautiful people. So I had to say that. Matter of fact, I had to told a couple of people about. I was up at Publix. We got a Publix here now where I'm at. Guy Nick's from down there in Florida, and I ran into also too my guy Cornell, Canada, and he came in with his Steelers hat on. And so when I'm talking to Nick, who's behind, I got some pizzas for the girls. I said you could tell when people are happy about their team, they start wearing their paraphernalia in public places like the Steelers. He heard me. He stopped. I was like, I just started laughing. We had a real good conversation. So I told those fellas if they come out here, I was going to give them a shout just to tell them what's up, man. So yeah, for sure.
I will say, it shows how I guess for me, and not everyone's the same, but watching the end of that Steelers game, for me it was kind of sad. I guess for me to see guys end of an era type stuff. Because, Rodgers is on the sideline. He looks like he's done, right? Cam Hayward's also there, and it looks like this could be it for him because we don't know. These guys are two older dudes. We don't know. And, for me, I was like, man, I was hoping the Steelers win because I want to see the old dudes get one last crack at it. Baltimore's really have a lot of old dudes in that team, but Rodgers and Cam Hayward, two guys that just come to mind. It's I was like, I don't want those guys to go out this way. And they end up winning the game. But, for me, I was over – I had a lot of emotion during that, JD. I got teary-eyed for the guys. A little bit, for sure.
Yeah.
I guess selfishly, I look at it from I remember watching these guys when I was a young guy, a young kid, and now this could be their last game, and getting to see that and losing that fast, you're a PAT, you're not at least going to get a shot at overtime.
Yeah, but they asked Rodgers again last night about how did you feel it's going to be your last one? He was just like, I'm trying to enjoy the win right now. Yeah. And he didn't say anything, and he didn't allude to saying that he was hanging it up. Yeah. So, but Cam's going in, both of them Hall of Famers, and they ball players. But
for sure.
It's a great game last night. Great game. So
it was.
Yeah. What up, General? General's in the building. What's up, my brother? What's going on with you, man? So,
hey, Jay, I want to give you a kudos too, since the season is over and we're having a full off season of draft talk.
Yes, sir.
Well, I want to give you kudos because there was a guy that you were a huge fan of last year going to the draft, and that was James Pierce Jr., who had 10.5 sacks. First double-digit sack season by a rookie since Micah Parsons.
Really?
Yeah.
Who would have thought that? Who would have thought it? Hey, man, talented guy. I knew he had it in him. But, hey, I've seen a lot of pass rushers, defensive ends, and you don't have to be the prototypical size of a guy, but all you do is just get it done, right? So you don't have the build of a defensive end. He's what, about 240, 245 Pierce, to be honest. It's the same thing we talk about Bain, and we talk about Bailey too. Bailey's another guy who's not 245, but he gets his job done. We talked about Bain, and my brother was sitting there talking about that. Major Chip Hazard. He said, I hope we get Ruben Bain. And Bain, he's got thunder in his hands. He's a very powerful guy. His lower body power is unreal. And so that's why he's able to walk back, tackles, guards and whatnot and get through them. And he has a relentless motor. He's another guy, man, that just does a great job. But he's just only going to get better. So I think like Major Chip Harris is sitting there saying I do prefer a guy like Bay. So, but like I said, all those guys are good. And so, like I said before, Marcus, we'll get into it Wednesday on why I do believe Bain or Bailey, those guys, is would benefit us more than go get a running back first round.
100%. And that'll be hammered out by the time we get to draft, I think. Because, if we are going to go the free agency running back route, we'll know pretty soon. As soon as that thing opens up, I think within the first week, we'll either find a running back. If we don't, then say, okay, then it seems like we are maybe leaning towards Love for that 9th pick. I think we'll show our cards pretty early on, I think.
Yeah, I do too. Not to mention, look, we got a young running back, Brashard Smith, that looked good in the game. A lot of juice. And so I'm sitting there thinking, here's a guy that we know is fast. He catch the football. He's got everything to him that you need to kind of make a difference. Do you stay on that level with a guy like that? Right? I mean, seriously. He had a ton of yards in college because of why? Because of his ability. He's an athlete. He can do it all. So a guy like that is very promising. We've seen David Pierce get in a couple of reps running football too. So, and I kept saying this, Marcus, and I keep saying this. I'm going to reiterate again. Doesn't matter who you have in the backfield if the guys up front are not doing the blocking, if they're not doing their job like it should be. It's going to be hard for anybody. So we watched that, obviously in the Raiders, and, watch our guy, Genty, trying to get out there and do some things. He got a couple yards, but made it hard for him. Made it hard for him all season. And the joker, look, man, he had acquired almost 1,000 yards this season. I was sitting there, he almost got 1,000?
It's crazy.
Quietly? It was just, it's crazy. So.
Yeah, most touched runner behind the line of scrimmage.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, and similar to us, right? O-line issues. I mean, they have there's about them is they're not really paying their guys a primo. We kind of are paying some of our guys a primo, and like that is an issue.
We're the second highest paid offensive line in the league as of this moment, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe you're right. And on top of that, then you also look at, like, for the guys who aren't getting the premium money. Well, that left side line, there's an early round draft picks dedicated to the offensive line, right? First and second on the left side, and then everybody else is paid from center on.
Yes, sir, Bob. Yes, sir, Bob. So,
I know you'll get into it when we do the grades as far as offensive line, but a guy who got his first start yesterday, my Persian brother, Hunter Norzad.
Norzad, yes, sir.
I talked to him. He said he'll be joining us this offseason on our show. So it's great to have the Persian brother on the show.
Yeah, okay. Be good. Talk to old Norzad.
He looked good, man. Like, for me, it's like, why wasn't he starting over Caliendo weeks ago? But
man, shoot. You don't quite know. But he has looked good. I love him as that extra tight end coming in, the big, and then him playing right guard. He did look good. Yeah, I still get used to, it's a little different from center to guard, because usually he's the one kind of on the inside, kind of setting the level and overtaking. And he's got to learn how to move up to the second level, getting the linebacker in space from the guard position. So it's a little tad different. Yeah. So Hunter Norzad, they're on the green beans. Norzad 60, right? 60.
Number 60, yep.
Yeah. So
he was our starting right guard yesterday, Del Monte.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, so it was good to see that. It was refreshing to see, right? Because you talk about guys who got playing time yesterday. And obviously, we go to Brashard Smith, we go to Bossa, we go to Jalen Royals. But obviously, offensive line, people really aren't looking at the trenches. I mean, like, number 60 was a guy that he flashed right away yesterday. Now, it's not a sexy ball carrier or skill position, but he looked good yesterday.
Yeah, he did. Made some plays, some very exciting plays. But like I said, we know he definitely got some juice to him. So we've seen that ability yesterday. I wish we had, seen it a little bit earlier during the season. So
it just might mean we won't see number 66 anymore.
Nah, Yeah, you didn't get no burn. DJ Jazz said Andy Reid alluded to thinking Chiefs had the O-line for next season after they get healthy. No mention of drafts or free agent for next season O-line. Yeah, I think we got everybody in the room we need. They just had to get better. That's the point I'm making is they have to come back, work on fundamentals. Like Chew Godwin, okay, I'll talk about him. These past couple games he's played in. Very young guy, very talented guy. And I'll put Issa in that same category. There's just some technique things and fundamentals that they need to get better at. Hand placement, hat placement, running their feet. And so they're projects that's going to get better. But I see why Chew and then Issa everybody was asking, how come we didn't say? I'm like, this guys just weren't quite ready. Now Issa came in and did well the one game, right? Very, very effective for what he did. But also too, you start seeing some of the, obviously some of his faults, deficiencies, at least for me, as a coach, who coach online, as a player, that he can get better at. So those two that are young, they got reasons. Older guys, they don't have too much of a reason. And during the season, Marcus, the first part of the season, we struggled on the O-line. Inside, a little bit out. We know that. And so, yeah, DJ, we got to get better. That's what has to happen. We got the guys in the room, but our standard has to go up here. And the two guys that's going to get that done, Creed Humphrey and Trey Smith. They got to take that over. So Andy Heck can only do so much, but those guys right there, they got to get the other guys going.
JD, I know coaching staff's been a big question in this offseason, and obviously Matt Nagy and Spags both got interview requests from the Tennessee Titans. And I just heard a lot this season right now that you've addressed it before. People dogged Connor Embry, saying we need a new wide receiver position coach. And Andy Heck is our offensive line coach. A lot of people want us to replace as well. Mm-hmm. And I made a point. I think someone kind of like had a point back to me on our YouTube channel. But I made a point. I mean, Andy Heck, he's been here for a while, and like, look at what he's done for our offensive line. Now people want to always focus on the bad, but like Wiley, I think it was a 6th round or undrafted guy who ended up getting a big contract with the Commanders. Allegretti, undrafted guy, or a 6th round pick again, late round guy, developmental. Started for us in the Super Bowl, ends up getting a big contract with the Commanders. And then you have these two guys, Chew Godric and Issa Polle, undrafted guy, comes in and looks solid. Chew Godric, an IPP guy who never played football up until like 2 years ago, comes in and looks solid. And especially in last week's, the one I'll point out, because they only allowed 4 pressures against the top pass rush in the NFL. Mm-hmm. So like people want to dog, and the one I got pushback on was Trey Smith. I said Trey Smith, 6th round pick, and he's looked amazing. But the pushback was, well, he would have gone higher if it wasn't for his the medical.
That's true.
Which is true, but also at the same time, he's still a guy who he didn't come in the league polished and ready to rock. You need fine tuning, and of course he was a 6th round pick, but the medical red flag was kind of the reason why he got pushed out so late. But I think Andy Heck's done a phenomenal job. I just think people want to place blame on him for some of the jobs that, like, look at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers Super Bowl. That's not his fault that we had to go through the OL, pretty much had the same O-line we had this year in the Super Bowl game. That's not his fault those guys got injured.
No, it's not. It isn't. But also, too, I think what it is, what magnifies it, Marcus, is when you do have a guy like, Jawan Taylor on the right who keeps getting in the same mess, holding and lining up all sides, and you might see other guys get beat, and we're not doing anything in the running game like we should, or maybe we're giving up pressures. That might be more of an indicator. People are saying, oh, my gosh, look, Andy Heck's a terrible coach. Well, it's on the guy. It is on the player to get the job done, period and point blank, okay? And so we've seen them pull Jawan Taylor before. We've seen that happen. And those guys have pulled him like, look, man, we're getting tired of all of these shenanigans that you're doing. And they didn't mind, pulling him when they needed to. And so maybe they didn't think, hey, we pull this guy, who we going to put in there? We pull him. Well, Jalen Moore came out there, did a decent job. But Andy Heck, all the coaches, it don't matter who it is, every coach is coming into this offseason looking at themselves a reflection and saying, what do I need to get better? What do I need to do to get my guys in the shape, in the understanding about how good, much better we need to be? How do we improve? And so Andy Heck's going in. He knows that. He ain't sitting back, crossing his legs and arms saying, yeah, I'm okay. I'm all right. No. He's doing a self-evaluation as well, as he should. Every coach does that. Every coach does that. So he's not satisfied. And if he is, I would be absolutely shocked. I know Andy, and Andy does not do that. Okay. He holds those guys accountable. He knows he's got guys up front who do a great job, like I said, to Trey Smith and Creed Humphrey, that he know he could rely on those guys to kind of get those things put together. So that I think it's more so why they look at it. But like you said, you had a great point. All these other guys that's been somewhere who were backups or whatever, gone and got paid, and they did a pretty decent job. So I think Andy's not going anywhere. He's going to be here. As long as Andy Reid's here, Andy Heck's going to be here. So
I agree. And also too, like another thing that's not on him specifically is the play calling, right? Because you talk about it's tough for offensive linemen to kind of get going when you kind of throw the ball all the time. And I think Andy said either today, I think it was today's press conference, we talked about like that no one, pretty much in so many words, no team ever bit on our play action. That just wasn't there this year, and we need to get better at that. Well, Andy, we ran the ball like 8 times a game, so of course no defense is going to bite on the play action. I mean, and that falls on the whatever it is, whether it's on Pat checking out of run plays on the RPOs, just throwing it every time, or Andy not calling enough run plays. Something's got to give with that, and I think that's something they have to really explore this offseason. But again, that's not on Andy Heck. Andy Heck's just coaching these guys up. If defenses aren't biting on the play action, then our offensive line, is obviously playing with not a full deck there, and that's the deck stacks against them, and that's not their fault. So I think Andy Heck gets a lot of shade thrown his way, where it should kind of maybe go somewhere else.
So, and it goes into the point of like a coach can't play for your guy. You can't play for your guys. Your guys got to come in with the instructions that you're giving them and understand exactly what you're trying to convey to them. And they got to go out there and they got to play. So obviously the teaching tool is we're going to visually give it to you. We're going to write it down on the board. We're going to work through it in practice. We're going to work through fundamentals. We're going to try to get all this stuff down. So same thing, we go and talk about Connor. I know Connor knows ball. He does. He's been around football his entire life. His father he coached me as a tight end. So I know he understands ball. He's been around coaches his entire life. So is it something that he's not doing while the guys are not doing? He can't catch the football. He had a lot of drops this year. Ain't nothing to do with Connor. He can't call the routes for him to run. That's on the offensive coordinator to scheme up to get open. Now, the guys got to use all the tools necessary to get open, run a great route, and catch the football. So coaching does matter. Let me make that clear. Coaching absolutely matters. But also, too, the guys got to adopt what you're telling them, and they got to execute the plays. Pure and simple. And so if you're watching guys and they're not doing things crisp or not, I don't think coaches are saying, okay, that's okay. I'm sure he's like, man, you got to run this route a little bit better. You got to be a little bit more crisp. You got to have your depth when you run it. You got to have technique-wise, have him on your inside shoulder, right? Stack the DB. I'm sure he's telling all the different things that I would tell, guys. So we see it all the time. Different coaches in different areas. You might get the blame because the guys aren't performing. But one thing I know is you can't run, you can't tackle, you can't catch for the guys that's out there on the field.
Yeah.
It boils down to the man. So.
Yeah, 100%. And also more true, and I know this guy's a higher pay with Creed Humphrey, best center in the league. And we've gone from back-to-back best centers in the league from the time Andy Heck's been there. Rodney Hudson was the best center in the league at one point. I think he was the highest paid at one point. Mitch Morse was the highest paid center at one point. And then now we have Creed Humphrey. All three of those guys have been the best at one point, and that's – I'm not saying it's all Andy Heck, but those guys are under the tutelage of Andy Heck. So, it goes to show you something. And, yeah, so I looked it up, JD. So Wiley was an undrafted free agent. Alec Gray was a 7th-round pick. Trey Smith, 6th-round pick. Chu Godric, international pathway program player, and then Pole UDFA. So, I mean, 2 of those guys got paid, and I'm not saying it's all Andy Heck, but he helped them. These guys developed to get that big contract they did not have when they came out. So
that's right. There's my guy right there, man. Cornell, Canada, the one I met up there in public, man.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, everybody, Chief Concern family, give Cornell, man, a warm welcome for coming in. Now, listen, he's a Steelers fan, but he's been watching Steelers for years, so don't hold that against him. One of my best friends is a Steelers fan, and I understand for what it is. So we had a great conversation with this gentleman right here. So y'all get a chance, man. Say what's up to Cornell, please. All right, Cornell, good to see you, brother. Good to see you coming in here, saying what's up to everybody. Glad you can make it.
Welcome to the family, buddy.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And I'll be rooting for the Steelers as long as you have the old heads over there with the Hayward and Aaron Rodgers, and we're not in it. I'll give my love and support to the Steelers.
Yeah, yes, sir.
I'll be playing Renegade over here, waving my white tail over here, but not my yellow tail.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Yeah. So again, I don't know if I don't think we talked about the Nagy report. But Nagy, there was a report yesterday that apparently that whether he gets a head coaching job or not, this might be the last run for Matt Nagy in Kansas City. And it sounds like it's more of like the Bieniemy. Remember when Bieniemy left after we won? It was like, I'm going to go elsewhere to be a main play caller, just get out of the Andy Reid shadow. It seems like that's going to be kind of the thing for him, whether he goes somewhere else, be an OC. He just wants to be the main guy behind the scenes. So it sounds like he's probably gone regardless. But I'm just curious, what do you make of that? And who would you want back of all the guys you think that could potentially be back? Dougie, Bieniemy, and Mike Kafka. With the 3 guys that Tej and I talked about, obviously bringing back, and I think Bieniemy's the name to come back. That's one of the names they dropped that he could potentially be coming back. Who would you prefer of those 3, JD? I know you might have a more of a preference on Dougie P because that was your boy back in the day.
Yeah, look, all those guys are great coordinators. They do a great job here with the Kingdom. I like Dougie. Dougie is great. Bieniemy, I always told you I wanted him to have a chance at a head coaching job, and so. The craziness is, he hadn't gotten one. And every time he comes up, his name comes up, something always pops up with somebody saying something crazy about him coming in. But with that being said, I will talk about Nagy. And Nagy, I think, you talked about Nagy and Spags. Spags is another name that's been coming up. But I do believe Nagy's name is kind of out there. And if somebody was more closer to leaving, I think Nagy would be the guy for sure. But they want offensive guys. They do. That's what teams are looking for. That's who they covered right now. Spags a little bit older. I don't think they look for the older guys as much. You see they kicked out Pete Carroll as soon as he got there. He didn't even get to take his shoes off real good. And next thing he told him to do, Gramps, grab your stuff and get out of here. And so it was a bad deal. So I don't know. As far as guys coming back, all those guys sound good, to be honest with you, Marcus. The thing is, it doesn't matter who's coming back. Are we going to run the daggone football? That's the question. Are we going to run the football? And I do believe, I know a couple of those guys will do that. And so I like the fire of Dougie. Of course, my brother Bieniemy, that's my guy. Kafka, I think he'll do a great job. But is he being considered for the head coaching job up here, man, with the Giants?
It doesn't seem like it. I know he's going to be interviewed for, is what they said, but
yeah,
yeah.
Well, shoot, we got Jackson Dart. You may want to try to retain a couple of guys. So, I don't know. He might. They'll entertain it. So
yeah, he'll definitely be interviewing around. But if I was him, honestly, if it was between the Giants OC job and the Chiefs OC job, I would definitely take the Chiefs OC job over the Giants one any day of the week and twice on Sunday. But everyone in the chat, I've seen this all over online, Stop with the Andy Reid retreads. Bring me someone new. Bring me fresh blood. Where do you stand on the fresh blood aspect, JD? How high do you have that versus bringing in either EB or Doug or Mike Kafka? Where does new blood kind of sit with you?
I like it. I like new, fresh ideas. Maybe it gets Andy to change a little bit, but they need to understand when they come into this building, it's going to be Andy's offense. Now, you may bring in a couple of wrinkles here and there and get to expand on a few things. But hey, man, I think Andy he'll be okay with that. I don't have no problem with it whatsoever. I think it's actually a good idea.
Bring in an outside person, Andy Reid.
Yeah, new guy. He's got a little flair to him, and can challenge Andy, truthfully on some things. Not only that, Marcus, but look, I don't think people realize as a coordinator what it takes, the energy to get everybody on the same page, okay? You got position coaches that do positions. Coordinators take the entire offensive defense, and they got to make sure everybody is right. They're doing the right thing. They're doing it exactly how you want it being done. So it ain't for the faint of heart. You got to be ready for it. You got to be ready for it. And so if you got a young guy coming in, go-getter, that's got some fresh ideas, I'm all for it. But at least let this guy have at least a body of work. Don't just bring some young dude in and just like, oh, we're going to give him a chance. No. Don't work like that, okay? Go to some other teams that don't have established themselves. You want somebody that got a little bit of that, a little fire to them.
That moxie.
Okay? It's moxie, absolutely.
An outside person. Do you have any names? I see Gruden on the screen here, and I know I think our guy Charles Goldman wrote that potentially Gruden could come back. He went to training camp with us. There are some ties there.
Gruden is coming in as a head coach.
Okay.
Gruden ain't looking to coordinate anything.
Not to get his feet wet, back to be back in the good graces of the NFL, and 1 year of an OC job, and then he plays his cards right, no bad emails, and then he gets a head coaching job in a year or two.
Not a chance. Not a chance. So
Cliff Kingsbury. That's a fun name that people are throwing around there because it ties him to Holmes.
Yeah, of course, but pass on Cliff too.
Yeah, well, they talk about a guy who doesn't like to run the ball. The Commanders had the least amount of under center plays this year. So,
yeah. So he said Gruden ain't getting no head coaching job. He's been trying to talk about going to college. He wanted to go coach in the SEC. I don't know. I don't really see him doing it in college either. That's a lot of work, but he might. I don't know. No.
Some Raiders fans want him back in Vegas. But the rumors are Brian Flores is going to be the guy. Apparently, Bray's going to be the main person behind bringing in a coach. So they said potentially Brian Flores would get the head coaching job in Oakland or Vegas. Sorry.
Yeah.
Which Flores, that's a good coach. I mean, he got another a guy who got fleeced down in Miami with the way they handled that whole situation. Should have been a head coach by now, but the NFL conspired against him as well. A lot of the things are out there. That's a guy, talk about bringing a facelift to an organization, bringing grit. Flores would be a perfect guy for the Raiders to kind of change up the mentality down there.
Yeah, for sure. Daniel said first get a running back and then talk about using the run game.
Fair.
Daniel, we got running backs. We didn't utilize them. Rashard Smith did a good job this past game.
They did. Like, where was that all season? Where was the toss play all season, JD? I saw a toss play for the first time yesterday all season.
Didn't want to eat. I don't know. It's gone. We want to throw it down the field, Marcus. What we going to do? And I get it. So.
Will says Mike McDaniel for outside Andy coaching tree. From what I've read, they're going to retain McDaniels. They like the way the season ended for them, so apparently they're going to retain him down in Miami. All right. So let's get to the grades, our final grade show of 2025 season. So yeah, like JD said, there was a lot to love yesterday. Also, some guys look like they were their heads were already in Cancun yesterday. But there were some guys yesterday who I thought really showed and made me. I talked about it on the post-game show yesterday, and we talked about it a couple weeks ago, but it made me say, JD, like, I think we have our two cornerbacks. If they want to move on from Trent McDuffie and trade him and get assets for him and not pay him, and if they want to move on from Jalen Watson and not pay him the money that he's going to be wanting, I think you have two dudes. You have Fulton on this for one more year. They paid him 2 years, $20 million, and I saw why they paid him that. We did film study on him after we signed him, and we didn't see him for whatever reason all season long, healthy scratch and all. But he showed out the last 2 games, and Noel Williams showed out the last 2 games as well. He also showed out when he did show up a few times this year. But giving those guys a full plate the last 2 weeks, it really has me like excited about those 2 guys because you saw the physicality and the way they played, and that really excited me. So I think that's where we're headed as far as 2026. So. All right, let's get to play calling for the last game of the season. Andy and Nagy, JD, how do you think you saw the play calling yesterday?
I tell you this. I like them running the football, trying to establish that, but it made sense trying to help Oladuke from help him out offensively and work sometimes. Other times I think they probably could have called some better plays for him. They ran out of, a couple plays out of 13 personnel to try to help him out somewhat. But it's tough. Your line can't hold up. So with that being said, I gave Andy and those guys a C-.
Like you said, I love they kind of ran the ball. They were trying to get Brashard Smith in space. They ran a lot of plays to get him the ball and just kind of do his thing, and you saw that. This is not more play calling as far as offensive play calling, but this is more just kind of the way the game went. At the end of the game, I'm just curious. A lot of people think that Andy was in on us to lose to make sure we got the 9th pick. What did you make of that timeout at the end of the game there when the Raiders had no timeouts left and we call a timeout and like they were able to kind of get situated there? What did you make of that?
I mean, shoot, you could try to put in to, get your defense in also too, what you want to do. But I don't know. Maybe he saw something. Not sure. I didn't think too much of it.
J-Dub says that he gives him an A for the timeout. Will says the timeout came from Veach.
Wait a minute. Wait. Hey, timeout, call it.
I don't want that 11th pick. I want the 9th pick. What are you doing?
Yeah.
But yeah, it looks like everyone kind of gives Andy and Veach or Andy and Nagy C+ to B-.
Let's see. Yeah. I give him a C. I could do C. I think they did. I give him a C. Yeah, because I think some of the plays after looking at them, some of the combinations was like, I don't think they were conducive to what Chris does well. You put it that way, and so they should have known that some of these plays he wasn't going to be able to go downtown like he wanted to. So.
It did seem like they changed up the offense a little bit more up-tempo when Buechele went in. It seemed like they kind of ran a different set of plays at all, and it's like, that's interesting. So you ran a different set of plays for this guy, but you didn't utilize Oladokin's mobility at all, like design runs for the guy who it looks like he run like a 340. I mean, he's fast as heck, the kid.
Yeah. So.
All right, let's move on to running backs. We got to see our guy, Lightning Brashard Smith, baby.
Yes, sir. So the thing is, they had a B from me. I'm gonna give him a C+. The reason I'm getting a C+ is because of the drops that Brashard Smith had. So I can't get away from that. But he had good vision. He hit the hole fast. He cut back. He looked good. He did. I'm gonna say this. I might be the only one saying this, but if you don't get an aggressive guy in free agency, I think we have something in Brashard Smith. I think we really do. And maybe David McPherson, and if you keep Kareem Hunt here, I think you have something truly that you could work with. then obviously, if you're trying to get a Breece Hall and those type of guys, if they come up, you got a chance to get them. Sure, why not? But what I saw out of Brashard Smith is exactly what I thought he would bring to the table. Truly. Kareem Hunt is without a doubt the best third down back in the league. And we've seen during the season, and I looked at the PFF grades, Marcus, I don't like doing PFF, but looking at his grades, Kareem Hunt was up there with some of the best in what he was doing. He just was. And we decided not to give him the football. When we give Kareem Hunt the football, he runs well, he runs hard, he gets first downs, he moves the chains. That's what it calls, move the chains. And so you can't have play action and whatnot if the running back is not getting any type of work. And that's our problem. We didn't get any type of work to Kareem Hunt when we needed to. But I'm glad Brashard Smith was able to see a little bit of that light last night, and Damon Pierce get a little touch. So those are three guys I think are good guys. I think they are. So, yeah. So that's why I gave him a C+ because of it.
I'm right there with you. I think Brashard Smith really showed he can be a somebody in this league. And I think when you have him, and I'm seeing someone comment, Daniel, no, I'm not doing the 7th round running back gimmick again. Give me Breece Hall or Jeremiah Love. I think that's what JD's saying here, Daniel. He's saying to bring in a guy like a Breece Hall type or Kenneth Walker, say just one of the veteran running backs, and you pair him with Kareem Hunt for your 4th and 2s, your 4th and 1s, your 3rd and 1s. And then you have Brashard Smith, who can be that pass catcher at the backfield, can be a change of pace guy. When you want to smash and dash the Breece Hall, you put Brashard Smith in, and they have the toss plays that we didn't do all season long, like we saw yesterday. So I think that's what JD's saying. You still bring in a guy, but Brashard Smith's not a guy. Is a guy you can still utilize in the offense.
And Brashard Smith has the ability. When you watch him in a game like this, you can tell if they ran him all season, he could be right up there with all these other guys. He could. That's the talent he has. He's quick, he's got speed, and he's got vision. But those things you get better with experience. And so, Dan, you may not do a 7th round running back gimmick again. But like I said, I don't think it's on them. I think it's really on the O-line up front. That's what it boils down to. So regardless if we get Breece Hall here or Jeremiah Love, hey, bring Barry Sanders out of retirement if you want to. The guys up front are not making the plays and blocking like they should in the scheme. It's not going to matter. It's not going to matter. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
PT, no doubt about it. Until the O-line improves, I don't think it matters who you put it. That's a fact. That is an absolute fact. So, hate to, and I'm gonna tell it to Grunny, and I'm sure Grunny's he's gonna agree with me. I'm gonna bring some evidence so we can see, we can talk about it. Because when I was sitting there talking about the grades that these guys had for the season, we're in 60s, 50s as an O-line. The only one that graded 89 was Creed Humphrey. That's Creed. Other than that, everybody's 60s and 50s. And that can't happen. That can't happen. When you look at all the other offensive linemen in these other places with these running backs that's doing a very good job, they grade a lot better than we do. Okay? So I just think, man, the Brashard Smith, you could see his talent.
Yeah.
You can see it. Now I see that during the preseason. I'm just like, this is a guy that should be getting the ball. Nope, I'm not going to do it. So,
yeah. And the thing is, it's like we finally got to see him do it during the game, and I wish we started early on in the season. I think they probably would have gone. I think it would have been a case where they moved it to week 6 or week 7, where they gave him 8 to 12 carries a game, and he actually showed yesterday. Mm-hmm. By the end of the season, we probably could have seen this could be our guy going forward, but we didn't see it until week 18. Kind of like how the Dolphins kind of slowly gave the more touches to A-Chain. Slowly they gave him the ball, slowly. But I do think we have something here. I don't think he should be our bell cow next year, and I don't think our offense really demands a bell cow. But I think you add a guy like Kenneth Walker, you add a guy like Breece Hall, you can have your change of pace speedster and this guy who can also take some load off whoever the RB1 is next year if they bring in a Kenneth Walker or Breece Hall type. You have him getting 6 to 8 carries and as he showed yesterday, he can do that. You can ride the hot hand with him.
Oh, yeah. No doubt about it. So,
yeah.
So, Lars, how much does online coaching matter? It matters. It matters. But you could draw up every play. You could tell guys techniques. They got to be able to get the job done. Sometimes this year, Laura, up front, we just get our butts kicked. And there was really no excuses on it whatsoever. This is from our veteran guys. We just didn't get the job done. So that's important. It's off season. Every single one of those jokers, the young guys, have to be that much better. They do. The older guys got to be that much better. We got to be able to set the standard. We're like the second highest paid offensive line in the league. We should have results of that. Am I wrong?
It's inexcusable that we didn't have those results with how much they're getting paid.
That's a fact. Look, Jay Gruden was sitting there. He's seen it. He didn't mince any words, and he didn't hold back. Shoot, he said, man, they were probably average, maybe below average. I think he might have said, or just basically almost average, and that was the truth. And I'm not saying anything bad about the guys. I mean, I think the guys seen their performance out there too. They could be a lot better. Now, I'm not just talking, and let me make this clear. I'm not only just talking about O-line. I'm talking about tight ends as well, okay? Because we have something to do with that as too, in the blocking game. Receivers, tight ends, running backs, everybody's got to do a much better job in a running game this season coming up. It's just what it is. So,
Daniel says,
go ahead.
I was saying what Daniel says here: Brees, Burchard, and Hung would be a great running back trio. 100%. That'd be amazing.
Heck yeah! Sign me up, Daniel. Sign me up. Sign me up. So,
yeah. Michael Kill says, "How about Jay Gruden for OC?"
Ooh. Okay. That's interesting. I don't know. I don't know what Jay's thinking about.
Hey, he's the well, people always talk about Sean McVay, the Sean McVay coaching tree. Well, Sean McVay comes from Jay Gruden. That's where he comes from. So,
well, man, now you shoot. I don't know. We'll talk about that one day. But I can see if Jay came in here. I'm just saying, if Andy decided to leave, let's say Jay came here, switch some things up. Jay might be looking like, well, maybe I'll take over when Andy decides to put it down. I mean, it might be something he could work into, be like, oh, well, shoot, maybe if I come here to do that. I don't know. That's a good question. Who asked that question? Who asked that?
That's Michael Kittle.
Mike. Okay. I see you, Mike.
Do you know Jay Gruden, JD? Was he with the staff of the Eagles or no? Not yet.
Yeah, Jay, but no, he wasn't with the Eagles. It was only John. So, but John used to talk about his brother all the time, being in the arena league, and
that's right.
He had all those yards and stuff like that. So, oh yeah. So we used to see him, man. But yeah, Jay is. Let me put it this way: if they could work together, that's going to be the question. Because we're talking about Jay's going to want some control. And I don't know if Andy's going to relinquish some of that control. That's the issue. I say you need somebody who has some fire and stuff like that. Jay has a lot of fire. And so if they could get on the same page on doing something like that, that wouldn't be a bad move, to be honest with you. So.
Yeah. When I interned at the NBC station in D.C., I was able to interview him. It was around the time where McVay was, I think, the tight ends coach for the Commanders at the time. So got to Jay Gruden was a nice guy. So yeah, I wouldn't mind it. I think he does have not skeletons in his closet, but I think towards the end of his tenure with the Commanders, there's videos of him talking to girls at bars and stuff, like a drunk at like some bars. But that was towards the end of his tenure with Washington.
Man, it might be innocent. I don't know.
Yeah, he's having a good old time. Just
he's talking close closet, like get back in there, skeleton. Suckers piling out. No, I don't know.
That was 7 years ago now, so we're almost a decade. I think we're good. I think we're good. Yeah. Let's move on to offensive line, where we talked about our guy Hunter Norzad earlier, who finally got a start at right guard. It looked pretty dang good. How did the offensive line do, Jimmy?
Yeah.
Oh, I had to make him the centerpiece for the offensive line graphic, JD.
I see. O-line. They had some good moments. They did. They had some really good moments blocking for Rashad. I think they did better in the run blocking they did pass. Like I said, the young guys, Issa, Chu, for them it's fundamentals and technique, steps, communication. I see all the things that they fail to do. And so that's pretty apparent watching them. But you do see some promising things. Those guys can learn that. You could tell, like, this guy right here is going to get better. Issa could get better. Chu can get better. Hunter did a good job. I think he could get better. So King Suma at times was kind of up and down. So with that being said, based off of what they gave, I gave the O-line. I was going to give them a C minus, but I'm going to be sweet. I'm going to give them a C. Be a little sweet. Give them a C right now. Okay.
What you saw from Norris, because it was the first time we really got to see Norris yesterday. Do you think he's got a shot to be like the next Allegretti, a guy who can come in and show flashes at the right guard spot? I mean, obviously he's shown that he plays center and he can play guard, so he's obviously very versatile. But do you see him as that next guy? I think it went from Allegretti to Caliendo. Caliendo never really made the Allegretti jump like Allegretti showed. But do you think he could be that next guy for us to do it all kind of backup reserve?
I think so. He gives a lot of value because he's a natural center. I think he just has to learn space. He has like the leverage and stuff like he did really well in that regard. I think part for him is where he does have to come off the block and move up to the second level is something he'll have to get used to kind of doing a little bit more. Also, too, moving his feet and communicating when you have twists and stunts. And so, but that's something he can definitely get better at. But he brings a lot of versatility, Marcus, that I think is very valuable to us. So I like Norzad a lot. I do. I can't wait to talk to this guy. Really.
Me too.
A little bit. I like Norzad.
It'd be great to have our Persian brother on the show.
Yes, sir.
Persian brother. That's not Tasia, but maybe with Tasia come on the show. We'll have the three Persians on.
Mm-hmm. Be good.
And you're an adopted Persian brother, JD. We're giving you the Persian card.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. So we all brothers anyway. So that's
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
JD, did you ever play against a JC Price in 96-97? Play for Carolina, Arizona. If he played in 96-97, yeah. So I don't know if he played for either one of those teams during that time. I definitely played against him. I'm trying to remember him. I don't know what position he played about time, but tell your wife I did hear her voice shouting at me. Thank you. So tell her she's more than welcome. And I appreciate it. I'm glad I could do it. So I don't know who JC Price is, man. I had to look him up and see. But if he played there in 96-97, I definitely played against one of those guys. Arizona, because I played with Eagles, played against them twice a year. And then Carolina, this was my first touchdown, Marcus. The very first touchdown. I ran a wide stick, went up in there, caught that joker, got on the elevator, baby, got on up there. Ty Detmer throws one up to me. I catch it between two defenders. First touchdown ever against Carolina.
Was it at Carolina or was it in Philly?
Philly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So the Philly fans was going crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I had nothing to do with myself. I was like, oh, I threw my hand up. But yes, sir, Carolina Panthers.
Daniel wants to know what he thought of Kingsley's hurdle at the end of the game. That final play. I didn't know he had it on.
He's athletic. Shoot, he's an athletic dude. Hey, look, when a lineman has a chance to get a little bit of glory with the football, they're going to look like they Barry Sanders or Sweetness, really. So Peyton, Walter Payton, and Norzad just wanted, well, not Norzad, King Suma just wanted to, he just wanted to show what he can do. Look good, though. He should have gave a daggone ball up, though. Heck. Yeah. Sucker wanted to go and show what he got. Hey, man, we still got a chance with this.
I'll tell you what, he might have opened some eyes to Andy for next year. Like, you know what? That's actually not bad, Kingsley. That's not bad. We'll scrap that one up for next year, maybe. Came in the backfield in the red zone.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Sorry, Judah, man. I can't even enjoy the show. My granddaughter's bugging me. 3-2, man. Give them all the attention they need, man. Give them that attention. Don't worry about us. Your granddaughters, grandbabies. So, tight ends. Yeah, yesterday's showing. A7, man, I know he's frustrated. He was sleepwalking a lot yesterday. Sleepwalking. Now, I commend him for going out there and playing and whatnot. At a certain point, because he's like, look, if I'm going to prove that regardless of this, I'm going to come out here and come and play, that's what I'm going to do. And so he came out to come play. Tight ends came out to come play a little bit. Caught some balls. Running game wasn't as good. It wasn't. But let me say this. I don't think this is A7's last game. I just don't believe it. Body language, what he said, I think he feels like there's more to do. And I think he's going to go out on his own terms. And I think he'll let everybody know before the season, this is going to be my last hoorah. This is going to be it. And I think this next year coming up is going to be the last one for him. So with that being said, man, tight ends, caught the football, decent in blocking. I gave my tight ends a C.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you on the whole Travis Kelce thing. I don't think it's at the end. Did you kind of get what I was saying on the show last night, JD? Like, when yesterday the post game show, I made the point, like, what stood out to me was the lack of, like, the emotion. And I don't mean emotion from, like, him not being wanting to win. I mean the emotion of, like, the tears coming out. Like, you would see, like, kind of like sappiness. I didn't see a lot of guys going up to him and hugging him like it was the last hurrah. It didn't give me the vibes like it was the last game for him. And I think maybe the guys noted. Chris Jones kind of maybe gave us a little insight that I don't think it's his last game in his post-game presser. So,
yeah, no, it just didn't. It didn't feel like that. It didn't. So let's hope A7 comes back for another year.
100%.
Like I said, I think he does. So,
yeah. One less thing to figure out in the offseason. All right, we got wide receivers, JD. Hollywood Brown, man, he gave it his all yesterday. Give him that. He gave it his all.
He did. I mean, you got two guys trying to throw the ball to you. They're not Patrick Mahomes. So it's a little tough. With that being said, Juju caught a couple balls. They were just okay, wide receiver wise. Nothing that blew you out of the water. Jalen Royals, I think he had a couple missed assignments from what I seen. Other than that, I think they were just average. So I gave the wide receivers a C.
What did you make of Jalen Royals, JD? I was trying to, like, I didn't go back to look at the all-22, but, like, I don't know. I wasn't really – again, it's not Patrick Mahomes back there. It's, two guys, practice squad guys that throwing the ball. But, like, at the same time, I didn't really see much from Royals as far as, like, his get-off. It just didn't look like it was a guy who's being ready to go and, like, I'm going to go out there and show myself off. It didn't really seem like that to me. It looked like he's still maybe tentative because he still doesn't really know the playbook. That kind of screamed to me a little bit. Looked like a guy who's still trying to grasp the playbook. It was kind of tentative out there. What do you think about that?
Yeah, it didn't look like a guy that had fresh legs. Looked like a guy that was still kind of figuring things out. I don't know. But I wasn't blown away in any of his route running and any of those things. So,
yeah. Hopefully a year to grasp the playbook, a year to kind of, be healthy and get stuff together. Hopefully next year we can see some Jalen Royals kind of explode next year. Going to need it. Only 3 wide receivers on the squad right now, Worthy, Rice, and Royals. So going to need number 11 to pop off.
Yep. Yes, sir.
Hollywood Brown, if you had to make a guess on January 5th, do you think he comes back next year, or do you think he's going to get some money elsewhere?
I don't know, man. I tell you what, whoever he goes to, or he stays with us, he's a valuable veteran guy that produces. I like Hollywood Brown. I like him.
Yep.
It's a shame that he got hurt his first year, with us. This year, we was able to see what he brings to the table. So I don't know. I wish him the best. We'll see, man. But I'm a Hollywood Brown fan for sure. So.
Yeah, he produced all year long. I mean, when his number was called, I mean, you can even make the argument that he should have gotten his number called a little bit more so than it was, even when we had Pat.
Yes, sir. No doubt.
I saw another comment here. I just wanted to bring this to attention because we've had a lot of wide receiver haters in the past, which he all says one thing to talk about. DeMarcus Robinson, Sky Moore, and MVS are all going to the playoffs.
Yes, they are. Good for them. Congratulations to those guys. So. They said all those guys' names. They've all been mentioned in, part of the team.
Yeah.
So, good for all of those guys. Good for them.
Yeah. All right, quarterbacks, JD. How do you think Oladokin and Shane Buechele played yesterday?
I'll keep this quick with them. Very disappointed. It looked bad. They did. Time in. Turnovers. Just running around. Both those guys, I thought Chris had a little bit more to him, coming into this game, and he just didn't look. He just didn't look like that guy. He just didn't. I was actually just wondering at his play. Sincerely. Buechele came in, kind of moved the ball a little bit, but I said the same thing with Shane and those guys. But they practice squad players at the most. So, with that being said, Marcus, we have to find somebody. We have to find somebody that is a quality guy that is there. If Patrick is not need to be in the first game of the season, first couple of games of the season, we need a quality guy, man, that's going to be able to come in and run this thing. And so there's going to be some names out there that I like, and we'll just have to see. We'll see what that's going to look like, what it's going to be. So.
Oh boy. Yeah, I mean, that's the quarterback situation, something that we're going to have to look at. Regardless if Patrick Mahomes is back by week 1, because of the injury, we're still going to have someone behind him. Just in, God forbid anything happens, just in case you need to have someone who's competent, a veteran quarterback. It is a shame that we never got to see how Minshew looked, because he could potentially would have been our backup next year. But he got the ACL injury, so we're going to have to find somebody else. And we talked about Brissett, Jameis Winston, Russell Wilson, Marcus Mariota has been a name people have been talked about. Tyrod Taylor's a guy I'm a huge fan of. Joe Flacco. And also a guy who might get cut soon is with the Raiders, Geno Smith. Would you be a fan of Geno Smith as a backup? I think Geno Smith would be a solid backup.
Yeah, he would be, of course. He's a solid quarterback. The good system. I think our system's a little bit different from everybody else's. That's why I don't think Joe Flacco would work necessarily with some of the things that we do. Russ, maybe. Jameis, possibly. Some names on there. But I don't know. I told you who I want it to be. Telling all that stuff.
You want Russ?
I want Russ, but I said I also wanted
Brissett?
No. I said I want Cam. I want Cam to come out of retirement, Cam. Shoot. Taking all that stuff, man. Come on out. Retirement. You want a shot? You want another chance? Come back. Do it for the Chiefs. So, but yeah, no, I like Russ, man. I do. But these guys, let me go ahead and talk about these guys. When I gave them a grade, I thought it, man. It was just it was a bad outing for them. Shoot, between those guys, you had a D plus and a D minus. That's what I saw. And with that being said, they both got it's a D. D rating for the quarterbacks.
Oh boy, rough.
Yeah, rough, terrible.
You saw
Curl.
Kelsey. You see him shaking his head a bunch of times out there. He was wide open a few times.
He bounced around to him. I'm like, he throw this thing in the dirt. Hey, man, come on, man. Yeah, no. Yeah. No, sir.
Cameron Newton. Yeah.
I like Cam, man. Bring Cam on out here, man. Cam will be exciting. People will come to see Cam Newton play. They would. Big quarterback, strong arm. He can take off running when he needs to. You know?
Yeah. I'd much rather have some of the other guys we named, though.
Really? You don't like Cam?
I mean, it'd be fun from a gimmick standpoint, but I mean, I want someone who can, look, we didn't even utilize packages for Oladokin to run the ball. They're what's to say they're not going to do that with Cam Newton, And Mariota's also another one that I've come around to as well as a potential backup. I mean, he's solid, man.
He is. And I think it all depends on, what we're doing around him, Same thing, coordinated, all those different things. So.
Yeah.
Demetrio said we need Teddy Bridgewater. Bridge is.
I liked him at one point, but I mean, I saw him play in a game when Baker got hurt. It looked really rough.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I wasn't a Teddy Bridgewater fan at one point.
Yeah, man, huge. I like Teddy. I know Teddy.
Teddy Two Gloves, baby.
Yes, sir.
All right, so let's go to defense. Let's go to potential future Tennessee Titans head coach here, Steve Spagnuolo. How do you think Spags called this game, JD?
I think he did a good job. Put guys in a position to make plays. And all guys needed to do was just line up and hit guys in the mouth. Ran a couple of middle dog crosses, a couple of stunts, corner blitz. I like Spags making this call. So I'm going to give Spags a B, man. He did a good job of, putting guys in position to make plays. B for Spags. And so, like I said, I think Spags, how old is Spags?
I want to say early 50s or late 40s. Nah, not late 40s. He's early 50s, I think.
Who, Spags?
Is he older than that?
He's 68. Spags is like 65 and 66.
Yeah, 66.
Yeah, man. He's the early 50s. Jeez, Marcus, that's my age. Hey,
I thought about it after I said, I was like, yeah, no, he's not.
Early 50s. It's like when I was playing. Coach. Who said it? Spag is older than Andy.
Yeah. I don't see him getting the head coaching job anymore. I think at this point he's a DC for life until however long he wants to do it.
And look, he's done. He's already had that. I think unless he just really that's what he wants to do. Sure, but man, Spag's an older guy. I think teams now are really looking for these young minds, these young people. That's what they're looking for. More energy, and if you grow with a guy, you can keep him here for a number of years. You know what I mean? You start looking, man, at 60, these guys, they ready for a retirement, brother. Come on. They ain't trying to do 3 or 4 years and that's it. Yeah. They want a guy to stay there for 10 to 12, or if you get a Mike Tomlin or somebody like that. So definitely somebody in their 40s to be that guy.
Yeah. I think the Raiders situation with Pete Carroll really kind of hits the nail on the nose there. I mean, older guy, and he only lasted 1 year. I think he signed a 3 or 4 year deal. And it was 1 year. It's you know what? Let's just go with the younger face. And they're probably, I've read probably Brian Flores or Stefanski, 2 younger dudes. And also Flores, defensive guy. But generally, you're seeing a lot more offensive guys get hired, younger offensive guys. And Spags doesn't really fit that mold anymore. So I think he's definitely going to be back in Kansas City. As far as the offensive stuff, I think there's a higher chance Nagy gets a job before Spags gets a job, which it's crazy. But yeah.
No, I agree. No, I mean, shoot. And he's closer to being a head coach, at least the timing of it, than Spags was. So that makes sense. What's that? It's only, a couple of years for Nagy since he was a head coach? Like this is going on year 3.
Yeah.
So yeah.
And we'll see if the boy genius Ben Johnson can get further than Matt Nagy.
Yep.
And Matt Nagy lost a wild card weekend. And let's see if Ben Johnson can do that. I know everyone says there's a huge gap there between the two, but we'll see if he can go further than the other guy.
Yeah. What you said. So Spaz just turns 60, will be 6 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to defensive backs. Look at that. Christian Fulton around cornerback 1 or 2 next year, baby. Guys,
DBs, man. Yeah, DBs look good. Corners for sure. Safeties look good too. I ain't gonna lie. Jamari Coleman is making the interception. The guys play hard on the outside. I like these guys. I do. I like Noah Williams. I like Fulton. Fulton, of course, is always, is he going to be able to be healthy all year? That's the question for him. It's always, his health reasons. Medically, is he going to be fine? That's it. That's all. But other than that, all these guys are aggressive. They play exactly like the things that Dave Merrick and Spags want. Exactly what they want. So I love it. I think Noah Williams is a star in the making, man. I really do. I like him a lot. But with that being said, man, I gave the DBs, man. I gave him a B. Solid B.
What's your take on Jaden Hicks? I know I saw your comment in the chat yesterday. A lot of people yesterday were saying like they should have just let him play all year long, make those mistakes as a young buck, let him make those mistakes. He does show flashes sometimes, and
I said that Jaden Hicks he was playing early, and because of mistakes he made, we pay for those mistakes. That's why he wasn't playing. So you can't be the reason why we get beat, get hit. Heck, you already hamstrung with Connors out there. It's like, dang, you can't have 2 young guys out there who's messing around like who you don't know where to be. Can't do that. There's just way too many holes in what you're trying to do. So I think Jaden Hicks played a good game. I think he's going to be fine by next year. I think he will be. But he just needs that maturity. That's what I said. He just needs to become a little bit more mature in like everything he's doing. Everything. Study habits, get everything down, film-wise. He's got to become a cerebral type of player back there as a safety. He has ability. He does. He can hit. He can run. He can do all those different things. So I do like his ability. I do like it. But you can't have missing assignments. You just can't do it. Not mental mistakes. It'll cost you back there. Next thing you know, they're striking the band up, baby. And that's it. You don't want them striking the band. Chili just coming out and doing the high kicks on you and the pom-poms waving in your face. Well, that's because that guy. Could have been him or anybody else. Whoever it is, don't matter who it is. If you don't get the job done, you don't know what you're doing, then you get beat like that. So, but with that being said, Marcus, I think Hicks he's a talented guy. He just didn't play well at the first of the season.
Yeah. And with the reports that Brian Cook wants $15 million annually, I think you see a report that came out last week?
No.
The reports are that he can demand about $15 million a year annually.
Okay. Well,
that's a hefty price tag right there. I was not expecting $15 million a year for him.
No, well, I mean, they said he could ask that. I mean, you're gonna get it.
That's true.
Ask anything. Shoot, I want to ask for $30 million. Don't mean I'm gonna get it.
It's true.
So,
and kind of, I know we talked about last week. We want to see another week of Fulton and Knoll doing their thing, and we saw it again yesterday. Are you more confident, like going into next year and saying, like, if these are our DB 1 and 2, would you be confident these two being our DB 1 and 2 if they do decide to move on from McDuffie and Watson?
I think both of them have some ability. And the question, like I said before, is Fulton is is he going to be able to last because his medical history is a question. So I think you have to have a guy that's in place just in case. So whoever that solid third guy needs to be, then that's what we need to be talking about. Talking about safety-wise, too, Nazeeh came out. We see Nazeeh, he played. Seen him on special teams. So there might be, some works for different guys. We don't quite know. I'll say this. I was very pleased with their progress these last couple of games. They look very good. These two guys are starting corners in the league, the NFL. And if we decided not to move on McDuffie or Watson, I just think we need a third guy there that we know is going to be able to come in. And if one of the guys go down, you got to have another dog there ready in the wait. So
it's those round 5 to 7 picks come into play. We've been really good developing cornerbacks, potentially finding a guy, or Christian Fulton. That signing came out of nowhere. What if they find the Christian Fulton of this year's free agency class, but they actually play him next year, hopefully?
Yeah.
Well, like you said, these two guys do fit the mold of what kind of cornerbacks we want. They're physical as heck. They're going to get up in you, and I do love that. All right. I think we got linebackers next. We got linebackers, JD.
LBs, I think they did a decent job. Nick Bolton is a guy that always comes out to come play. And I'm happy to always see Nick come out there, man, because he's one of those consummate pro. It doesn't matter if he's playing on Saturday, Wednesday, at night, in the day, he's going to come out and he's going to come play. He did a good job. Trump did a good job. The young guys did a decent job of it as well. So, with that being said, I gave the linebackers a B-. I think we got a good group of guys there.
You think we got a steal with this Cooper McDonald? You think he's really, really flashing to you?
I do. I like Cooper McDonald, man. I mean, he's a special team guy, but he comes out, he plays hard. Now, Myers beat him up on the sideline for the
that was a good coverage. That was a good ball.
It was a good ball. It was good coverage, but he's looking him up, and I'm watching his eyes, and I'm just like, he needed to be a little bit more hip to hip on him. So that was the only thing. But he did. He played well. He covered him. So, yeah, B- though. B- to a B. Yeah, body work. Solid B. I'll give it. I'll give him that. Solid B. I like these guys, man. I like that group.
And Bolton showed why he's paid what he is yesterday. I mean, he was unreal. And I kept thinking to myself, there's people out there who don't like this guy just because, he's not the best cover linebacker in the world, but he does what he does well. He does really well.
Yeah. They didn't like Jesse Tuggle or London Fletcher. They just happened to be one of the best linebackers because they was undersized. They was making tackles. That's who reminds me of, those guys like that. Undersized linebackers. That's why he was the leading tackle of the SEC for a reason. I keep going back to that in college. He knows how to find and make plays. That's what he does. He's a solid guy. So,
yeah,
big Bolton fan. We know that.
London Fletcher's good. That's a good comp. I like that London Fletcher comp.
Yeah.
All right. Defensive line, our last position group for the defense.
D-line, I thought they played pretty decent. I thought they caused a little havoc. Now, obviously, it was Kenny Pickett's and Aiden O'Connell. O'Shaughnessy. But I think they did a decent job kind of pressing some of the guys. I still want some of the guys on the inside of press. Nandi looked pretty good pressing, and then it kind of went. Wayne, Tillery, Ashton Gelati is a baller. Ashton Gelati is a guy that probably needs to get more playing time. He's your guy. We need to get him playing as much as possible, man. I think he's going to be a star. I do. Star-wise, being a solid guy, a solid player. Okay. So he's helping that rotational piece. And Marcus, if we get a couple more guys here, we could be dangerous on the defensive line. You can't. But that guy right there needs help, CJ. So with that being said, man, I gave the D-line, I gave them a B-.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about it, JD. We've been talking about it for a long time now. He needs help, and this is the time to go get him help. And again, you find help for the pass rush. You don't need to find, the next L'Jarius Sneer, Sean McDuffie as your cornerback. You just need solid guys back there to be your cornerback 3 and 4. If you have a pass rush. So it's a very pivotal year for the pass rush at the front.
Yeah.
Noah John Marshall says, just got here, but Mike Dana has to go. How do you think Dana played this season? How do you think he played in this game?
I didn't really see too much of Mike, man. He had gotten hurt earlier in the season. Kind of shocked because he didn't show up like I thought he was going to show up. Let me put it that way. I think Mike Dana has a ceiling.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think that's just the reality, right? He's a good depth piece, but he's a solid guy. Everybody loves him because he's a team player. We know he's going to work hard. Taking nothing away from Mike.
Yeah.
Love Mike to death. Love it. But I think we need to. This is about production. This is a production-based business, Marcus. It is. Let's just talk about production-wise on where we need to get to and where we need to go. And so, to make the pressures and the sacks and all those different things, there's going to have to be some changes on that defensive line. And so, that's a fact. That's a fact. So
1 sack all season.
Yeah.
And our guy Darius Alexander, remember the rookie we wanted from Toledo? He had 3.5 sacks this year. And he's a guy who's playing behind a lot of dudes. Dan probably got more snaps than he did this year. So, I mean.
Yeah. Man, did you see him run Lamar down?
Yes.
I was like, wow. I wanted to replay that too. I'm like, yeah, replay it. That sucker ran Lamar down. And I'm just like, is that Lamar being slow? Or was that just him being fast? He didn't have that much of an angle on. He ran him straight down the line of scrimmage and went to come get Lamar. And I heard Chris said something about it too. He said, "Oh my gosh, did you see that play?" I was amazed. I was amazed at it. Seriously, absolutely amazed.
If you look at these teams, like the Steelers are a great example of it. You find these teams that they find cornerbacks. I mean, or edge rushers, and like Steelers they found 2 things, right? They're able to find 1 million edge rushers every year, and they literally went from James Conner to Jalen Warren. And, like, they didn't spend high capital on these guys. I mean, they got Connor and then Jalen Warren. These are, like, mid-round running backs they found. And, like, they're both – Connor at his peak was awesome. Jalen Warren is awesome. And, like, we struggle to find a guy in this system. It's funny how they were able to find edge rushers and running backs so easily.
Yeah. So here we go. We can open up the conversation. Listen, folks, come in on Wednesday, okay? We're going to have a conversation about some of these picks. We're talking on the D-line, love, what position groups everybody's thinking of. And so, Pastor GT is talking about he's going to try to find the next Jalen Carter, Myles Garrett. Bain has a lot of versatility. He can play anywhere up and down the line of scrimmage. He can. And so that's the thing about what he brings to the table. Defensive end, defensive tackle, he can help out Chris Jones. A ton. And so any D-line has a good rotation like we were talking about, Mark. So you do. And it means solid guys when your main guy goes out. Who's the next guy's coming up? And they got to be just as pivotal in the things that you do as much as the guys that start. So it shouldn't even be any type of, lull in talent. It shouldn't be, especially on the D-line. But with that being said, I know they was talking about Mike Dana. Look, General said he didn't deserve the money. we gave Mike money because of everything Mike brings to the table besides just being out on the field, I do believe, okay? Like Mike, you say he's trash. Mike has some good moments here with the Chiefs. It's not like we broke the bank. You know what I'm saying? We didn't pay him George Galapagos money. So, and Mike had gotten hurt at the very first of this year. I thought Mike was going to do a lot better than what he did. It didn't happen.
I mean, in fairness to the whole Mike Dana, the way they've structured his contract, they can release him and get out $9 million on this deal.
So with that being said, man, look, there's going to be some changing on the defensive line. Same thing with Amenahu. You know, Amenahu, if he had not gotten hurt, man, no telling what it would have been. So, you know, I hope Amenahu gets as much as he wants out there on a free agency market. So, like that, brother.
Yeah. Yeah, some of these guys, I mean, it's going to look very different all over the place. I mean, the reports are it's going to be pretty much a overhaul in the roster. I don't know about overhaul, but the report was overhaul in the roster. So we'll see. I mean, they're going to have to make some of this money back. They're going to have to do some of these things. I mean, we're talking about saving $9 million with Dana, saving $23 million with Jawan Taylor. Naturally, right there, boom. And I think we kind of get back to even once they do the Jawan Taylor. You kind of pretty much get back to even there. So once Jawan Taylor goes, then you can start to restructure and do all these other things and release guys and get out of contracts. We'll have money again. So the people who are scared about us not having money, we'll have money to spend.
We have money, man. It's just business. It's what the NFL is. So This time comes for everybody. It does. And this year, because of the disappointments and, you know, the needs that we have, they're going to move on from guys. And when they do, you know, we'll report about it. But also, too, one thing we will do, you know, in general, you know me, I don't really call dudes trash, you know, on the team. You know, we always celebrate the Chiefs that's been here, man. You know, so if they didn't get the reduction done and all of that, hey, man, it is what it is, right? So.
Yeah, when we do get let go, guys, which I think we read yesterday that we can start doing that now when the season ends for us. Once that does happen, yeah, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about how it's going to impact our team, where we can go with the money that frees up. At the same time, too, this wasn't a very normal decade run for this team, right? What we've been on, these guys have all played their parts to what we accomplished over these last few years. So not only we'll talk about how it's going to impact us going forward, we're still going to give these guys flowers for what they did for our organization, as we always do when guys do leave the door. We still talk about their impact and what they did for us while they were here. So we cover all angles of it.
Hey, man, look, once a chief, always a chief, okay? So we're going to love you. Once you're here and you leave, we're going to still love you. So that's how it's going to be, at least for me. Somebody be like, I can't stand it. Well, hey, shoot.
Yeah. But all right, guys. Well, that does it for us on the final grading show of the 2025 season. We'll be back here on Wednesday. Grunny and Dunny on the same show, baby.
Yes, sir. Please come in for that.
Talking draft and prospects talking draft, prospects, what are our needs going forward as we approach the offseason and the draft. But having the insights between you two guys, it's going to be phenomenal.
Yeah. So we're going to have a real conversation, you all. Real conversation. And I hope you all come in and you know, come talk to us and holler at us. Man, matter of fact, Wednesday we open up the airwaves. So hopefully we'll have some people. So we'll let y'all know now. So preemptively letting you know, we'll open up the airwaves for some people come in and ask questions, you know, meet Ronnie and whatnot, say your piece. We'd love to have you. So if you need to go and put on your makeup and get yourself nice and put together to come in, Chiefs concerned, we love to have you. Love to see you. Love to talk to you. Love to see your face. So with that being said, ladies and gents, thank you so much. The season was what it was. Very interesting, disappointing in a lot of different ways. But the Chiefs will be back. They will be. And so, like I told my guy, I don't know if Cornell's still on here, I said, man, we just needed to take a break. Everybody got tired of us winning. We're going to let everybody else, let them duke it out for this one, okay? We need a little time, a little break from all those Super Bowl appearances and wins. And we needed this time. And so, with that being said, I just want to tell each and every one of you, thank you so much for showing up. We appreciate you so much for what y'all bring and, coming in, come seeing us. We really do. So we're moving on. 2026, baby. This is a new thing. So, Marsh, we did another hour and 40 minutes. We will not be another hour and 40 minutes, man.
It won't be. The great shows go that way just because so many position groups. But
and we had to talk about all of this at the end of the season anyway.
Yeah.
What it's going to look like going into the draft season. And
about 45 to an hour for sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so moving forward for all the newbies out there, our Monday shows in the offseason kind of turn towards looking at the team. So each Monday we'll go through a position group. So let's say next Monday we'll look at our defensive line. We'll talk about who's a free agent, who we could cut to save money, and potential guys who are out there in free agency. And we just kind of talk about that position group itself. It won't be an hour, 40 minutes. It'll be an hour show. So yeah. So hope you guys are ready for it because the off season's here. It's a different discussions, but it's gonna be a fun one. It's gonna be a long off season, but it's gonna be a fun one nonetheless.
But also too, man, we'll talk about some of these games from the weekends. For the playoffs. It's always
for sure.
Good. We'll talk about that too. Sure.
Yeah.
So we're gonna talk football. We're gonna talk football. We're gonna talk life. We'll talk some stories. Have some good stories also as well. I got tons of them. So I'll bring some of my brothers and them on as well during the off season. And some of the guys, I think some of the guys that I discussed with a couple of dudes, when everything kind of slows down to reach out to them. And so they said it was cool, once everything slows down. So,
yep. I know we got Norzad and Gelati on the list of guys potentially to come on. So it'll be interesting.
Yes, sir. So it'll be good to see them. Okay. But it was great seeing you all for tonight. Listen, y'all take care. Love each other the way you're supposed to love them. Hey, we will see each one of you back here on Wednesday. Okay. Marcus, my brother, love you.
Love you too, buddy.
Love you, gals and guys, ladies and gents. Y'all have a good evening. And like you said, we will see y'all on Wednesday. Y'all take care.
Hi, baby.
All right.
Off season begins, baby. Take it easy, everybody.
All right. We'll see y'all.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out the best clips from Chief Concerns. And if you prefer to listen to the show, subscribe and follow us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and anywhere else you get your podcasts.